Hey, welcome back to the flagship podcast of Halos in the Infield Network as we get you prepared for another week of baseball. This time we're at home, starting a 7-game series here with the Chicago White Sox and the Arizona Diamondbacks. And we'll talk more about that Saturday game with the Diamondbacks, which should be a good one. And then we're also going to get back into, I guess, the week that was, or the series that was, the Colorado Rockies, as much as we probably don't want to at this point. But we'll talk about that. We'll let you know where we are in the standings, any injuries. There's been a lot of transactions and a lot of news today. So before we do that, my name is Todd Fox, and the other co-host of the show,
Fernando. I would call myself the Lone Star Halo, but can I do that today? I am currently in New Mexico. So am I the Lobo Halo?
Yeah.
I'm here in the beautiful city of Sunland Park. I say that sarcastically. It's fine. It's okay. Bonkers about from some of the people here, but the city itself.
Okay, so you have your alternative reasons for being there, correct?
Well, I am on my way to California for the tailgate, and that is a perfect segue for you.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of which, this Saturday, if you haven't heard, 714 Tickets, I actually got off the phone, so it's kind of breaking news right now with Alejandra from 714 Tickets. She said they've extended the time to purchase your tickets all the way up until Friday. So they gave us not only today, but up to Friday to purchase your $55 tickets, which gets you in the gates, gets you the rare bobblehead that you can hold on to the end of the season and then sell. Whether Ohtani re-signs or not, it's going to go for a lot. It's a double, bobblehead? I keep wanting to call it podcast. Bobblehead. It's Trout and Ohtani together in the City Connects with a beach lifeguard shack in the background. And then also you get the, what is it called? The Thunder Sticks from us. You get a free t-shirt from us. You get all the nachos you can eat. And then you also get as many tacos as you want. We're going to be giving away street tacos. All you got to do is show your voucher you got from 714 Tickets, and you are in it for the fun. And to wash it down, you get some soda as well. So all that plus much more. And then we're going to go over to Noble L Works, where you can get 2 pints for $9. And then the 7th inning afterwards, it's buy one, get one free, or just regular if the game's not on at all. Just ask for Halos in the Infield, and they'll give you $1 off of any drink that you buy at the bar.
There you go. There you have it. As you can tell, Todd's stuttering, so he's obviously on his game today.
Oh yeah, I'm so good right now. Like I said before, my first language is not English, but that's the only language I know, so I'm in trouble.
See, my first language is literally not English. It was Spanish. So
yeah, I have much respect for those that talk, different languages, because I know how hard it is for Steve Elise to freaking talk English, and she has to slow down everything to talk it because Spanish is her natural language. Mm-hmm. And that's why I still can't figure out why I can't talk it right. And this is the only one I know.
See, not to get too sidetracked, but I'm sure you've seen it when she's talking, speaking Spanish with her family, friends, whatever. In Spanish, there are no pauses. You go, you go, you go. English, a lot of the times, is about stopping, enunciating certain words. But in Spanish, it's just go, 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 go. So a lot of natural Spanish speakers, I don't want to say have difficulty talking English, but we talk English super fast. That's all I ever hear from the podcast. I hear a bunch of people always tell me, you speak too fast. And it's because I'm a Spanish speaker. So for me, there are no pauses. There is no end of the sentence. You just keep going.
Yeah, you kind of get used to it. And then some things, if it's not pronunciated right or whatever, you can have a slang word for it. So it's easier to say as you say it fast.
Yeah, like Todd saying vasito. This cup is not vasito. Papito. That's not it either.
Look, no one wants to hear my Spanish, man. Let's talk about what they came here for, which is the Angels.
But there's no way anybody is tuning into this episode wanting us to say anything good. So, yeah.
Well, this will go back to now the Rocky series, where if I told you, Fernando, we outscored, before the series, we were going to outscore the Rockies 32-13, you would have predicted a what?
A sweep.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there would be no way you would think we would have lost one game, let alone two. I mean, we had the reverse Rally Chris special.
Yep.
And I mean, what did you think of the series before we start getting into game by game on this one?
I was watching the games. I watched like the bulk of the three games with one of my friends, and she was just like, "Well, how did you guys lose two out of the three if you guys scored so many runs on game two?" I'm like, you think baseball would work like that? And in theory, you would think that what you did yesterday might translate, but that's not how the Angels operate. And unfortunately, that's not how baseball operates. So the Angels played, you can't call them two average games like, oh, well, we had a chance on the third game. You know what? It doesn't matter. You lost two out of three in Colorado against the Rockies. And everyone's going to be mad at us because like, oh, look at these idiots. They can't even enjoy a victory. Okay, let's just get that out of the way right now, because I'm sure that's going to be a criticism we get, because we see it all the time in the
All the
comments.
time.
Some other hater podcasts are probably going to say something like that, like, oh, these guys can't even, enjoy a win. Okay, what is there to enjoy about Saturday? Okay, we kicked the crap out of them. Great. What did that do for us?
We just kept pace with Texas. That's about all I pull out of it. Like besides a couple guys that got in the lineup that hadn't been in the lineup because of philosophy, that's about the two only reasons I got out of it. Like, okay, this is nice. A lot of guys got right with their batting averages, but
except Squid.
Yeah, except Squid. And here's the thing, we'll get into that, but the thing is, Mark Langston couldn't have said truer words before Game 3. Or Terry said. Terry said, "Hey man, last night's record-setting game, that was great. We had a lot of fans in the post game say, save some of those runs for tomorrow." And Mark Langston's like, "No, you want to beat up on these teams. You want to keep the foot to the pedal to the metal. If you got to challenge the other team to stop you. They're a major league team too." And he was making excuses a little bit, but then he was also being real. He goes, "I feel that this team can get on a roll and score some more runs, not as much as they did last night, obviously, but they can get a good crooked number up there and win today." And I'm thinking to myself the entire time, bro, you guys just jinxed it, man. They're not going to score much today.
It really was such a frustrating series. It was just the simple fact that, like I said, Saturday offense was firing on all cylinders. You look up and down the lineup, almost everyone had a good offensive game with the exception of Squid, who saw that coming, and Shohei Ohtani. Now, that one was surprising. Ohtani was like, 1 for 7 or something like that?
7.
Yeah. So, honestly, if it wasn't for Squid, I would have said maybe Ohtani gets a silent mention for Nacho Night. Come on, bro. Literally everyone else on this team, if David Fletcher hit a 3-run home run, and Ohtani gets a single hit. But, obviously you're going to give Ohtani the pass because he's been doing pretty well over the last, 2-3 weeks offensively. But let's go to Friday's game real quick before we really dive into Saturday. Okay, so Friday, Sandoval went up there, 5 innings pitched, 3 earned runs, okay? So not a horrible performance, but not what you want to see coming off of his performance with the Royals. With the Royals, he looked good. He started calling his own pitches, looked like maybe he might have figured something out. Unfortunately, did not translate to his next start, where he gave up 10 hits, only struck out 3, which is fine. I don't need him to be a power arm. I don't need him to be a power pitcher. But I do need you to limit the hits, limit the runs. So his season ERA is now down to 4.16. Not horrible, but not what you want out of a potential number 2 guy like Sandoval.
Yeah, and then the other thing that disappointed me too is, we've seen it in the comments, is the fact that Sandoval has been 0-2 ahead of a lot of guys, 1-2, and he'll either come back and walk them, or he'll challenge him with a fastball that, let's just face it, that's his probably weakest pitch is his fastball. And he should be throwing stuff to get guys to chase and miss, and he's not doing it. And he's been getting beat a lot by a lot of 2-strike hits. And in this game, the bulk of their hits came with 2 strikes.
Yeah, the rest of the bullpen didn't do that great either. I mean, Logan Webb had a good outing. Bachman gave up 2 runs. Once again, I'm going to give Bachman, though he got the L, I'm going to give him a free pass because he's been looking pretty good overall. And eventually he was going to take his lumps, right? He is a rookie. So, you can't forget that. So I'm going to give him a pass. Davinsky, though, that was a bit of a disappointment. He's been a little more disappointing lately. He was super hot, and then he's starting to cool off just a little bit. He blew yet another save.
I will say this, though. This both of those, the runs, the loss to Bachman shouldn't have happened. Number one, it should have been a win for Sandoval. And the runs to also Davinsky shouldn't have counted. You would say, well, why? Because there was a grand slam. Well, because two guys that shouldn't be on the field, one was sent down, one, for God's sakes, is still on this team. I don't know why. But good old Squid, who had an error early in that game, was not charged for an error, even though he threw the ball, like literally he touched his head and it slipped out of his hand and went into the dugout almost. And he did not get charged with an error there, but he sure as hell got charged with an error later in the game when Davinsky came in to save Bachman with the bases loaded. Hard hit ball right to Walsh. Walsh turns the throw, throws it to the right side of the base correctly how he should, so that Squid can get it and then return fire to first for the double play as Davinsky had made his way to first. No. What's a dumbass Squid drops the ball, and not more than a pitch to a pitch later, 2 pitches later, it was a grand slam. That double play should have ended the inning because there was one out with 2 on. Instead, it made the bases loaded, and Davinsky threw 2 more pitches he didn't have to. And that was the grand slam. The 2 runs being charged to Bachman, Davinsky giving up the 2 runs after that. So that play just pissed me off to no end because you knew they were going to lose right then and there.
Yeah, unfortunately, in his last 7 innings pitch, he's got an ERA of 6.43. So maybe you can't entirely put this performance on Davinsky, but what you can say is ask the question, has he been figured out? You know, are batters starting to sit on something? Is he potentially tipping something now?
Yeah,
I'm not a pitching coach.
He has had we have to ask Ace for that, but
yeah, she's really good at that stuff.
Yeah, that was a little bit tough to swallow to see him not pitch all that great. I realized it was in Colorado, but yeah, he has been having his struggles of late. I don't know if they're going to slip Webb into that spot and maybe push Davinsky down a little bit, or depending on Joyce when he returns, because we got some news on that. It's unfortunate because that changeup got hit again, and that was one that was left right there, and the dude just took him over the fence.
Yep. And another thing that I did want to cover is this game right before is when the Eduardo Escobar trade happened.
Correct.
So Eduardo Escobar was traded for 2 minor leaguers, Coleman Crowe and then Landon Maddox. Is that his name?
I think so. It's something with an M.
I know for sure it's Landon is his first name. Now, this was a big blow, in my opinion, on the Coleman Crowe end, because the guy is a young cat, has a lot of potential. He's done pretty well with Rocket City. Now, did Perry make the right move? That's obviously, you're not going to know that right away. Now, the good news is that Eduardo Escobar's almost entire contract this year is being paid by the Mets. The only thing the Angels have to do is pay the league minimum, because that's a requirement. The team has to at least pay league minimum for this team to be on the roster. The Mets are fronting the rest of the 9 point something million that's owed to him this season. And he also has an option for next year to pick up. So, that gives the Angels some depth for this year and potentially for next year if they want to keep him around. He plays almost every infield position, which is good. He's a 34-year-old veteran. He's been there. He's done that. So, this could end up being a decent move for the Angels for now in the short term, especially because Rendon is probably going to come back for the next couple of days. He's going to get injured for sure. By the time the All-Star break, has come and gone, he'll probably be injured again by the end of July for sure. So at least now you got some protection there with that. Obviously, we know that Gio Urshela coming back this season is extremely unlikely, bearing potentially a deep playoff run. So this gives the Angels a little bit of wiggle room in that department. Maybe you bring Urshela back. Maybe you don't. Maybe if Urshela wants too much money, you let him walk in free agency, and now you have next year's Gio Urshela here. So I like the Escobar move. Like I said, it's just going to hurt in a couple years if Coleman Crowe or Landon end up becoming solid pitchers. But Crowe did go down seemingly needing Tommy John surgery. So,
yeah, I mean, the thing is with that kind of trade right there, I really like the fact that they get a guy who, again, I don't know what his Met status was other than his numbers. I don't know whether he was injured, but he only played 40 games this year. Last year he had 20 homers, 69 RBIs, good little switch hitter. Like you said, plays all around the bases. Is a good clubhouse guy. In fact, he's got the next 2 days off because he's getting his citizenship for the United States. So congratulations to him. And I really like this acquisition. I think it's a solid pickup. He's healthy. The 2 games he appeared in was really good. Helped keep that ninth inning going the other night. We'll talk about that. And he had a couple good hits in the first game here with Colorado. So decent pickup. Nice pickup there by Perry.
Yeah, once again, I've heard a lot of people be like, well, it could be worse. We could have gotten a guy like Jonathan VR, and you're absolutely right. We could have gotten a guy like Jonathan VR, or the goose could have been loose again. Captain Jack Mayfield could have made you want to drink some Captain Jack. So at least we didn't make one of those kind of moves, right?
Yes.
We got a guy who, this guy's a career 254 hitter. What's he batting this year? 254. So you can say that this man is the epitome of consistency. 162 career home runs. He's got 4 this year. You know what? That's what the Angels need. They need a guy who can play third base, second base, a little bit of shortstop. He can shift around the infield there. He can give some guys some days off. And you don't have to worry about this man being a gaping hole in the lineup like Squid. When Squid comes up, honestly, I would rather – you know what? Actually, you know what? Never mind. I was going to say I'd rather just take the automatic out because I don't want him to get hurt, but F that. You know what? Let him go up there. Let him swing so hard his helmet falls off and he twists his ankle.
Yep.
I don't wish injury upon anybody. I'm not hoping the guy gets seriously injured, but if you can twist his ankle, you don't need to be a hero, Squid. Take some time off.
Yeah, I would love for him just to be the helmet guy if he has to. Especially right now, we got Fletcher up there, and we got this kid. We sent Stefanik down, but I still don't understand why Velasquez is up there. I don't care how good his defense is. He's terrible. He sucks.
Could you imagine what it's like to be Michael Stefanik and be like, "Oh, I'm getting sent down. Oh, this asshat's still here, though."
Yeah,
they're literally dressing like this guy, like last year.
Yeah, that's the problem that I can't get over. Like for real. Like he's like excited he got called up to the bigs, but you're having a career year down there. I would be like, why are you going to call me up just to ride the pine? I should be starting over this guy. I can hit better than him. Hell, we were playing on the same team. I know I'm better than him, but they're so scared for whatever reason of his defense that they don't want to give him an opportunity to play an entire game. Like, even if Stefanik starts, he's out of there by the 6th or 7th inning.
Yeah, and I don't think his defense is, that bad. I mean, I don't think it's average defense.
Yep.
He will give you some average to maybe just a slightly below average. But here's the thing. What Squid gives us defensively, he costs us offensively. I mean, look at some of those look at that Dodgers game. Get bases loaded, lazy ground out.
First pitch.
Hey, he made contact. Woo,
Yeah,
I understand baseball, and all you could ever do in baseball is hit the ball and hope something good happens. It goes over the fence. It goes through the hole. You drive in a run. You have to make contact to succeed. And everyone would always make fun of Albert Pujols because he was the double play guy, right? Grounded in the most double plays in MLB history. Mm-hmm. But here's the thing. You have to make contact for something productive to happen. But at least Albert Pujols was still able to drive in runs. Yeah, he'd ground into double plays all the time. But we also forget that Albert Pujols was getting like 90-plus RBIs a year as an Angel. What did Squid give him?
I don't even know. Squid's been so pathetic, dude. Like, it's hard to even keep up with his stats. But see, this is a thing, though. We get stuck on this guy because he is such a hole in the lineup. There's other guys who have been bad. I mean, Jared Walsh got sent down. And again, if you were to ask me whose defense do you like more, what do you call it? Who'd you trust defensively more? I'd say Jared Walsh. He vacuums up everything at first base. I still believe if Walsh is playing instead of Pilates the other night against the Dodgers at first base, even though that ball takes a wicked hop, Walsh is fast enough to make that play. Pilates was still looking forward when the ball was behind him. So he thought it was a Snickers bar. He's like, I'm on a diet. Yeah, I just can't stand that dude. I don't know what he did to keep his spot up here, but it's pretty pathetic, dude. But moving on.
But would you have him over Squid on the roster?
Walsh?
No, Padlo.
Padlo, yes, I would.
You'd rather have him.
Yeah, because at least he has 5 years of experience on different major league rosters, just like Squid does. But he has actual production. You know what I mean? At least something. This
Okay.
guy's never really done anything with the at bats. It's weird. Because if you look at his year last year, somehow he hit 9 home runs, 28 RBIs in 125 games, bro. 120. Oh, excuse me, 125 games.
For
He had,
Squid?
yeah, for Squid, he only had 37 hits. He batted just 196.
Yeah,
So
right. I mean, right now he's batting like what, like 237 or something like that. So
yeah, yeah. But I mean, he struck out 119 times for a guy
yeah.
who's a small, guy in the box who should be worried about contact, just getting on base, and you only walk 15 times and you strike out 119. You're striking out like a power hitter, like
Yeah.
for real. And that's pathetic, dude. Absolutely.
It absolutely is because that's Adam Dunn strikes out that many times, but Adam Dunn hits 40 to 45 home runs, and that's his game. His
Correct.
game is being a long ball hitter. So if you're signing up to have a long ball hitter in your lineup, you can't get mad when they strike out because that's what they do.
Mm-hmm.
That about the machismo, about the launch angle. That's like being like, oh God, we have Barry Bonds. Why does he strike out? That's his game. He's going to hit a home run or he's going to strike out.
Yep.
Okay, well, that's all I got for Friday. You?
That's it on Friday, other than it was just a disappointing loss because we lost a game in the standings that night too. The
Yeah.
Rangers came back against the Yankees. So
Angels got an angel. So speaking of Angels got an angel, let's talk about Saturday, 25-1. I missed the entire third inning, or not all of it. I was like doing a puzzle, and I had the game playing in the background, and I saw the Trout, was it Theis and Drury, back-to-back home runs on 3 straight pitches.
correct.
So saw that. Me and my friend were like, hey, let's go get some ice cream. So we went to go get some ice cream. We came back. They were like, hey, you're going to finish, turn the game back on. I'm like, okay, turn the game back on. And somehow the score was like 23-1 or 23-0. I was like, what? And she's all like, that's not normal, right? And I was like, no, that's not normal. She's like, do you want to go back and see what happened? I'm like, no, we're good for right now. I rewatched it eventually. But I was just like, dude, I was gone for like 20 minutes.
Yeah, they were trying to skew the numbers in their favor as far as, okay, we know this team gets called out all the time with runners in scoring position and they can't get the 2-out hit. Well, in this game, especially in those back-to-back innings when they scored 13 and 8 runs collectively, they were something like they had 10 2-out hits with runners in scoring position.
Yeah, they were 13 for 24 this game with runners in scoring position. So
yes, they helped skew their numbers in a big way just in this one game. I mean, a guy that we've been ridiculing for having such a bad, June and May, or May and June, excuse me. Hunter Renfroe went 5 for 5 on his own and was driving.
And played first base.
Yeah, and played first base. And then Mickey Moniak, who we learned, the day after that, literally Mark Langston said he talked with Phil Nevin, and Phil Nevin said that, yeah, Moniak's been lobbying for more playing time and convinced him to get a start on Sunday versus the Rockies against a lefty because he wouldn't let him start against a lefty. So I'm thinking the conversation went like this with Moniak. Hey, bro, I went 5 for 5, 6 for 6 if you count my walk. I think I deserve to play tomorrow. And Nevin's like, well, gee golly whiz, I think you're right. I'll give you a shot. Because, I mean, it's so stupid. Every time we insert Moniak into the lineup, good things happen. Even when he goes 0 for 3, he gets a walk, a stolen base. He makes a great play in the outfield, and he's still productive. Yet we keep sitting him against lefties. And yes, he didn't tear the cover off the ball, but I think he got a hit or two. I think it was 2 hits against left-handed pitching. What are we doing here, bro? Moniak should not be sitting, especially with the current situation and injury status to a lot of these players and the ineffectiveness of one Taylor Ward.
Yeah, I mean, the way I see it is every year the Angels seem to have a guy who catches lightning in a bottle. Last year was Rengifo. The year before that, it was, God, who was it? Caught lightning in a bottle. Had one good year. Jared Walsh, 2021.
Yeah, that's Jared Walsh.
Yeah, 2020 was Max Stassi. It seems 2019, maybe you could throw in a guy like David Fletcher, who's been serviceable since, but like that was really like 2018, 2019, Kenny broke out. But the point is, if that's Moniak this year, then let's ride the wave, man. Let's ride the wave.
Agreed.
Give him a shot. Just give this kid the keys to the kingdom until he self-implodes. Because at the end of the day, he's one of our hottest hitters right now. He's batting over 300, and he has a decent sample size now. So it can't even be like, oh, well, he's only been up here for 2 weeks. Like if Joe Adele has like 5 at bats, he's batting 300. Okay, who cares, bro?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
guys get lucky. But once you're talking about as many at bats as Moniak has, I mean, how many? He has to have over 100 by now, right?
Yeah, because
It's
right now,
loading.
right
He's
now,
at 92. He's at 92.
okay, he's at 92. What's his numbers right now?
337
Okay.
batting average, 7 homers, 20 RBIs, 2 stolen bases.
Okay, let me read you off. What's his WAR? Do they show it on there or no?
I'd have to go on Baseball Reference for that.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Don't worry about that.
No, I'll go on it while you're looking up.
Okay. Well, Taylor Ward's numbers are this. You said he has how many 7 home runs, 30 RBIs?
7.
Okay, 7 or 7 and 20 or something like that. Okay, so Taylor Ward threw 273 at bats. He's got 68 hits, average of 249. He's got 9 home runs, 30 RBIs, 3 stolen bases, with an on base percentage of 316. I know Moniak's is way higher than that on base. And for the other day, I mean, they're starting him currently tonight against the White Sox. They're starting Moniak at leadoff, but for the majority, they've been putting Taylor Ward at 1 and Moniak at 7 when they do play in the same game. So if they are playing the same game moving forward, I would like that to be reversed. And let's get a sample size of what Moniak can do at leadoff versus Ward at 7.
Yeah, I like Moniak at leadoff in theory, and he's got a WAR of 1.9 this year, and that's through less than 100 at bats. He single-handedly is almost responsible for 2 runs.
See, that's awesome. And see, here's the thing too. If you remember, Fernando, remember when Neto was playing and Neto would be 9 and Moniak was 1. Someone threw a stat at me how the Angels have such a better record with that combination. With them flipping the order at least the second, third, fourth times through, because Neto's basically a leadoff guy. You put him at 9 and then start it back over with Moniak in front of Trout and Ohtani or Ohtani and Trout. That to me is a devastating, punch right there.
I'm really interested to see what's going to happen now when Rendon does come back. So, we're probably about a weekish is my guess, because he was taking grounders today. So that tells us in theory, bearing anything happening, he'll be back in a week for about a week.
That's a pretty nasty cocoa.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So he's going to get the keys at third base, right? You pay him too much money to not play. So he's going to be the third baseman. My guess is that Fletcher will still probably be a shortstop. Okay, so second base. Are you putting Eduardo Escobar there? Or are you putting Brandon Drury there? Because Brandon Drury can also play first base, but we also now got Mike Moustakas after this game, which I'm sure we'll touch on. So with that being said, we're once again in a logjam situation.
Yeah, that is true. I didn't think about that, but I would have to say because of range, maybe you put Escobar over at short and move Fletcher to second. Then you'd have to figure out, do you play Drury at first or do you play Renfroe at first? Somebody's going to be the odd man out, whether it's Moniak, Ward, or Drury, or maybe even Fletcher. I don't know. I mean, I don't see them not playing Escobar because of, what they got to get him and then his durability. Obviously it's going to help him being out the next 2 days, but when he comes back in, Rendon comes back in, you're absolutely right. That is a huge logjam. I'm just hoping that when they do activate Sir Injury a lot, that they send down Velasquez for good. You got it right at this point.
You can never kill the squid. He'll never die. It's like an infectious rash. Keeps coming back.
Yeah, the meds only work for so long.
Did you catch a second case, or did the first one just never die?
You can only suppress it. You can't kill it.
Just like disco.
Yeah, there you go.
Same vibes. The vibes are the same. Okay, so let's dive in a little bit further to this game. So Griffin Canning turns right back in the right direction. 6-inning pitch, no earned runs. Only gave up 4 hits, struck out 7. Ingram gave up the only run, but don't worry because he would be sitting down after this. I think that's probably good. The guy needs to go down there and get right again. He had an ERA of 15.43.
By the way, if Ingram did not give up that run, that would have been the biggest blowout of all time. As far as shutout, that would have been the biggest shutout of all time.
There you go. There you go. Angels could have made history and then made history by losing the series still. So. Tucker Davidson decided to find out what pitching was. He 1 inning, gave up no runs, 0 hits.
Amazing.
So is Tucker Davidson back, baby? No, probably not. But a step in the right direction nonetheless. I'll take it. I'll take it. And now let's dive into the offense here because there was a lot of it.
Okay.
Did Mike Trout get right this game? 3 for 3. And then he was taken out and he walked as well, right? Yeah, and he did walk. So do you think a game like this might actually help propel him along?
No, we had a comment too in the show this morning, me and James, when we did the Around the League show. By the way, check that out. I I did not, one of the comments I agreed with because I did agree with it because, and I didn't realize why they did this in the first place. It wasn't playing on AstroTurf. I realize it's a longer game than usual because of the blowout. You're going to get a couple more at bats, but for the reason of all the right reasons of getting his confidence up and him hitting the ball on the screws and just looking a hell of a lot better in this series, whether it was Colorado pitching or just him getting right for whatever reason, why take him out? Let him get 3 more at bats. Let him see if he can hit another jack over the wall. Let him see if he can go 6 for 7, something like that. But no, philosophy took over, and you had Squid just having a useless strikeout and two more outs. He went 0 for 3. I mean, that kind of pissed me off. I mean, every time they do something right, they do 2 things backwards that are dumb. I don't understand.
Yeah, man. I mean, like I said earlier when we first were introducing the pod, talk about, just an omen, right? I mean, Squid continues to poop the bed, man. I mean, literally everyone and their mom got a hit this game. 28 hits. Squid wasn't one of them.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and it's not like he had one at bat. It's like, oh, pinch hit, get the last at bat of the 8th inning or the 9th inning. No, he had 3 opportunities. That's pretty much a usual game's worth. If you're the number 9 hitter, you usually get about 3 or 4 at bats. So
yeah, absolutely. Brennan Drury, another guy who had a good game. He got 3 hits. We'll give Taylor Ward his flowers. His season average doesn't look as atrocious anymore. He's now up to 245 after this game. He got 2 hits, but 3 RBIs. Let's see. We also have Theis. Matty Ice got 3 hits.
Mm-hmm.
Hunter Renfroe, as you said earlier, 5 hits. Eduardo Escobar introduced himself with 2 hits. And then we had Moniak and Fletcher, who all had very, very good games. So just a good overall game. But in typical Angels fashion, they couldn't be too excited for too long because Sunday they got popped in the mouth.
Yeah, this one sucked. I mean, Anderson, if you look at his, if you say, okay, he gave up 3 runs or whatever, he did, but he kept them in the game. They were only able to scratch across a run, I think, in the 1st, the 4th inning, or the 5th inning and the 6th inning. So they were only able to get, 1 run doses here and there. He wasn't all that bad. It was just the Angels, once again, after scoring 25 runs, not really getting the job done with runners in scoring position again. And it took a, late rally for them to get a couple. They left a couple men on base there to try to tie it in that same inning. And then later in the game with an opportunity after scratching across the run, all with 2 outs, Moniak driving in another run, 4-3, Escobar getting into scoring position, 2nd and 3rd. They pinch it for Squid, which was the right thing. But a guy they just got in a trade the night before, if you can't beat him, join him literally, Mustakis, a guy who should have been an Angel 3 years ago. But he comes up, he should have been batting right there with a chance to give the Angels and sock it to his former team. Instead, he rides the pine. Nevin goes with Renifo, and Renifo does Renifo things. And then asked after the game by one of the reporters, how come you didn't go with Mike Moustakas right there? He just grunts and goes, didn't feel the need to make the move. What? Come on. And then there's no follow-up question.
Yeah, I mean, everyone was like, oh, well, Erica Weston shouldn't have to, ask a follow-up question, Phil seemed mean or whatever. But it's just like, it's also kind of your job. I'm not hating on Erica Weston. I'm a fan.
Mm-hmm.
But, you should have leaned in him just a little bit. Like, oh, come on. Oh, now, okay, here's my thing with Tyler Anderson whenever he's on the bump, okay? You're either eating a cheeseburger from Burger King or you're eating a cheeseburger from Jack in the Box, okay? So every time he pitches, he either, he never really gets blown out.
Mm-hmm.
he kind of always gives you a chance, 3, 4 innings pitch. You're like, oh, that's fine. But I mean, you're going to pay $13.3 million. So it's like if you come over to my house and I'm like, hey, man, I made 2 different cheeseburgers. Let me know which one you like better. And one of them secretly from Burger King, the other one's from Jack in the Box. The Burger King one, you're like, this is passable. And then like you eat the Jack in the Box burger and it's like, oh my God, it's like I'm eating at, Hunter Steakhouse, like a cheeseburger from like a 5-star restaurant, like by comparison, because in this game, Tyler Anderson pitched 7 innings and gave up 2 runs. You're like, hey, that was great. Because in the last one, he gave up 4 runs in 6 innings. So you're like, you know,
Yeah, I mean it's always somewhere in the middle with him, and he's usually gotten the run support. And so I was figuring in this game, if he can keep it below 5, which he did, he should have pulled away with a win. So nothing makes sense, Fernando. Every time we assume something because of recent trends, or we think we know the team, and this is what it's going to take to win a game, or this is what it's going to take to lose a game, we seem to be wrong lately because the Angels find new ways to lose. They find new, there was a throwing error by Soriano, so that allowed a 4th run. So if that hadn't happened, Moniak's single would have tied the game. They would have been looking to play extra innings or at least get into the bottom of the 9th. Instead, that all changes. And one thing I'll say, Fernando, about this before I let you get back into it again, because I'm ranting again. I'm sorry.
no, you're good. That's what I did.
In Colorado, the 3-game series, you had their best attendance for the entire season. They had sellouts for all 3. And there was a good 50 to maybe 60% Angel fans. There was a ton of red. And that means there's either a lot of Ohtani Trout fans, or there's a lot of transplant Angel fans that made the trip, or just a lot of fans in general that live close to Colorado that were able to come down and witness the series for the weekend. And it was nice to see. And I felt that the Angels let them down. They let them down. They could have shown out good for the people that came out there. And there was a few Angel pages that had a lot of Angel fans that made the trip. And it's just sad to know they had great weather the entire time up there in Colorado, and you lose to a bottom feeder 2 out of 3.
Hashtag welcome to my life. 2 out of 3. Nah, man, double it, give it to the next person. Like, that's like what it's like to be an Angels fan. It's just, man, we were riding such a high, coming, beating the Rangers. And then, winning 2 out of 3 against the Royals should have been a sweep, but, all we ever are on this network is negative, right? And we can't even enjoy wins. So, whatever, 2 out of 3, great. And then we break records for the game on Saturday. Who the hell cares? It's kind of like the compliment sandwich when somebody gives you like, hey, Todd, you're lazy, but you're a cool podcaster, but you're bald. You know what I mean? It's like, bad, good, bad. Bad game,
bastard.
Good game, bad game. You know what I mean? Like, that's what it was, man. It was just, who cares about Saturday? Dominic was saying like, oh, well, that might be what we picked for the Catello Award, for Game of the Year. I am going to lobby like I'm on Capitol Hill. If we're sitting here like before doing our roundtable, we discuss who the winners are, and beg that we do not pick that for Game of the Year, because it doesn't matter. It did not matter. We beat a bottom feeder team. And by the way, that bottom feeder team embarrassed us the game before and the game after. Well, we only lost by a run Sunday. It does not matter that we lost by 1 run. The fact of the matter is you lost to one of the worst teams in baseball 2 out of 3 times. And honestly, I think it's even more embarrassing that we clapped our cheeks on Saturday and then proceeded to lose on Sunday.
Oh, I totally agree, because you can't look at that game and say, man, it was so amazing, because, again, the bad taste in your mouth is not only the Friday night game, but the Sunday night game, because if you were to walk away and sweep that series, you're like, oh, hell, we totally dominated. That was a coming out party for these players, blah, blah, blah. Or even if you took 2 out of 3, the worst thing you could say is, damn, we beat them back-to-back nights, but we should have took game 1, but we overall took that series. As long as you take the series, we've always said as a network, both me and you from the start, all you want to do is win 2 out of 3, split a 4-game series, just never lose a series. Always try to strive to win a series. And if there's many examples this year of, they played a great game in between, or they played a great game 1, but they lost 2 and 3. We've done that a lot this year, unfortunately, where this team could have a way better record. And again,
Yep.
I'm with you, bro. I don't give a fuck if we scored 50 runs in that second game. We can't take 10 of those and add them and spread them out between game 1 and 3. You
I
know,
wish.
yeah, it's a brand new contest, man. This isn't soccer by out, oh, they scored 7 goals, so they advanced because they have more goals scored. It's baseball, man. Like that only works per game. And so again, we could have won 199-1 and it wouldn't have mattered. We got beat 2 out of 3.
Yeah, maybe it helped your run differential for the season, but what good does that do you if you don't make the dance?
Exactly.
So, yeah, super frustrating coming off of that. I will say Soriano, 2 innings, 1 earned run. Okay, that was good to see because, he had struggled a couple outings ago. So, I like this that he seemingly starting to get okay again. Once again, rookie taking his lumps, I'll take it. Yeah, I mean, there's really not much for this game, man. We scored 3 runs, great. We had a chance to win, great. But that's really all it was, a chance to win. And we just couldn't get it done. It was bad decision-making, my philosophy.
Mm-hmm.
And, hey, just throw that in the list of bad things that have happened this season.
Exactly. Just there's a bunch of it, unfortunately. So now let's talk about that Chicago White Sox series, because currently right now, if you look at the baseball standings right now, it's not in our favor. I said it on the post-game show. We can't smell the division. It's not that pie sitting on your grandma's windowsill and you're like, apple pie. I could smell it. We're so close because we had a chance to be within 3 games, possibly 2.5. We floundered out to 6 games out now, as we did pick up 1 after that win the other day, but we could have picked up another game. Right now, Houston's 5.5. They're a half game back in the wild card. We're a game back in the wild card. So right now, Fernando, before we get into the Chicago series, is this where you thought the Angels would be right now? Do you think they would have been better?
I would have hoped 42-37, the record sounds decent, but once you start looking at our division opponents, you start to get disappointed.
Yeah.
So because of that, I'm going to say that I'm not exactly satisfied where we are. I'm not disappointed. 42-37 isn't a horrible record, especially for, an Angels team that hasn't had much success over the last decade. But with that being said, if you are okay with being where we are in the division and you're like, well, 42-37 is good, it's because you like mediocrity. The record itself isn't mediocre. What's mediocre is where we sit currently in the standings. Now, I will give the Angels their flowers.
Mm-hmm.
They've had a lot of injuries so far, and there's a lot of guys who have regressed, who we thought were going to be big pieces. Taylor Ward, I'm looking at you. Patrick Sandoval, Reed Detmers. These were guys, Jose Suarez, El Demente. These are all guys who people had faith in because either their performance last year or because they've seen something from them in the past. Jared Walsh, you can throw his name in there too. And even David Fletcher. David Fletcher's back up now, so hopefully now that he was doing so well with the Salt Lake, maybe he'll be able to have it translate. But, yeah.
Yeah, I would have figured that at some point the Angels would have been at this moment about 48 and possibly 28. I would have thought that they were a little bit better than what they are right now. They have lost quite a few games that they should have won, and it's unfortunate because I thought that this team would be in a better situation. But can I get over this? And I think if we can get to the All-Star break and somehow we're like 4 games, no less than 4 games out of the division, I'll feel a little bit better about myself and about the team. And I think that maybe Texas, we can catch them. We can obviously catch them. And obviously, Houston's that team that could take off at any moment, but they're suffering through some injury problems, but I really think we got to get within 4 games. I don't want to be just thinking wild card the whole time.
Yeah, especially once you start getting a wild card, you start talking about who are you going to play in those games, So, especially because, a lot of the other teams you end up playing could be hot. I don't know. We'll talk about that when it becomes relevant. But also, if the Angels are hot going into the wild card game, then I'll take us against anybody. That's just how baseball works. But with that being said, let's talk about the White Sox series here, okay?
All right.
So, game 1. Dylan Cease versus Reed Detmers. Okay, Reed Detmers a 1-5 with a 4.02 ERA and 84 strikeouts. Okay, game 2 on Tuesday. Michael Kopech is going up against Shohei Ohtani. Ohtani is 6-3 with a 3.13 ERA, 117 strikeouts. Game 3, Wednesday, June 28th. Lucas Giolito is going up against Jaime Barria, who is 2-2 with a 2.14 ERA. He could be another one of those guys who's catching lightning in a bottle. And then game 4, Lance Lynn, who is 4-8 with a 6.40 ERA, is going up against Patrick Sandoval, who is 4-6 with a 4.16 ERA. So let's go to game 1. Dylan Cease, Reed Detmers.
Give me Detmers.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to take Detmers on this one. Okay. So we're both predicting game 1 dub. Okay. Number 2, Michael Kopech, Shohei Ohtani.
Ohtani.
I'm going to take the L. I don't think it'll be Ohtani's thing. I think it'll be the bullpen.
Okay.
I think Ohtani's only going to go about 6 innings, 7 innings. Maybe he'll get a little gassed out, maybe get tired. But I don't think this one will fall on Ohtani. I just don't think the offense is going to get it done. I think Michael Kopech with the 4.06 ERA is going to shut us down because that's what people with those records do to us. Okay, Giolito versus Jaime Barria. I'm taking Barria. I'm taking a dub.
I'm taking Giolito in this one.
Wow. Okay. So you're going. So if it was a 3-game series, that would have been your Raleigh Chris special. But we have a 4-game series. Mm-hmm. So as of right now, I think we're going 2-1. You said we're going the same. Or sorry, I said we're going 1.
Yeah, we're both 2-1.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So Thursday, Lance Lynn versus Patrick Sandoval. I am taking an L. I think it'll be win, loss.
I'm actually going to go opposite because the last time when we played the Chicago White Sox, I said, you know what? This guy's a fastball pitcher. He's living and dying with that. He's been giving up a lot of home runs. I like the Angels to take him deep. They took him deep a lot in Chicago. I think they're going to take him deep here again. So I'm going Angels. Give me Sandoval to get another dub.
Okay, so you're predicting a 3-1 series. I'm predicting a split.
Okay.
All right. We'll see who wins. We will see who is the most accurate. Who would be potentially starting Saturday?
I've heard either Griffin Canning or another start by Anderson.
No, yeah, it'd probably be Anderson because Canning, I think, would be pitching Friday.
Yeah, so that's most likely and that's what I said the other day.
No, I don't want to watch Anderson pitch.
Bro, can you believe it? I've been to a lot of Angel games, yet I've seen 4 Tyler Anderson starts already.
This is my second of the year because this would be my third because we went when we got the suite. Yeah. I watched them pitch or play in New York City. So this would be game number 3 for me. Not bad from a dude who lives in Texas now.
Or a guy that has to travel for work.
Yeah, exactly. So, okay. And then in August, the Angels will be in Arlington. And since I'm not traveling for work anymore, and that's a thing of the past, I need to be there for the series. By the way, did you order that jersey for me?
Yes, just ordered it this morning.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Yeah, hit up Todd if you need Angels jerseys.
Oh, no, don't do that.
Don't do that.
Because I had too many people and like friends is cool and everything because I can keep them in the know, but some people can't, don't understand when the shipping takes a little longer than it should, but that's just
okay. Fair enough. Don't bother Todd for anything besides tickets. He'll direct you to 714 tickets.
By the way, Chicago, one thing I want to say about Chicago, they're 34-45, 6 games out because that division's miserable. They have won 2 in a row, but they're 20-20 at home, so 500. But they are the worst, second worst in their division on the road, 14-25.
Jesus.
So we'll see.
Oh, another guy I want to talk to you about as we close up here. So Joe Adell's up. So obviously it's just because Escobar's taking a citizenship test. Hopefully you pass, brother. Good luck. Buena suerte, Mr. Escobar. Okay, so Adell has 2 days to probably not play. So assuming he gets anything, do you think he has a good game? He's probably going to start tomorrow. So he's not starting today, so he's probably going to start tomorrow. With that being said, do you think he has another good game like he had his short cup of coffee 3 weeks ago?
I would hope so because that would show off for another team to be like, hey man, this guy, whenever they call him up, he does something, and maybe he's changed and he's having another good year down in Salt Lake. So I think he does do something, whether it's just 2 hits and a walk or a hit and a walk. I think he's going to reach base at least 2 times when he plays for us. Also, Andrew Wantz was brought back. So we got Wantz back in the bullpen.
Yep.
There's been some moves, a lot of moves by Perry, and it's funny because I said prior to that, all the moves was it's so funny how Perry's real quick quick triggered to make a pitching change, and move guys and start MLB time clocks early, but he won't do that for hitters. And all of a sudden, we've seen a flurry of moves, and I think it's good. We need to get rid of the dead weight. As far as pitching's concerned, I think the pitching's been fine. It will continue to get better. Ben Joyce is on the mend. We just got this, that he's resuming throwing now. And, Neto's feeling no pain, but he's still got to wait before he throws. So likely he'll be back by the All-Star break or after, hopefully. So this team is getting healthy. We just got to weather the storm. Who cares about Rendon? But if we can just get consistent hits, brother, and we've been saying this all year, the pitching's good enough to win these games.
We'll see, man. We'll see. I mean, this offense has to start firing on all cylinders because when the pitching's on, the offense isn't. When the offense is on, the pitching isn't. You know what I mean? It can never stay consistent. You have an occasional game where they're both firing on all cylinders, but it's been pretty rare. And consistently inconsistent has been the Angel way for the last 10 years, unfortunately. But yeah, we'll see, man. We'll talk after the series is over before the tailgate and go from there.
Yeah, well, it's gonna be exciting. Well, the next show you guys catch the flagship brothers on, the super flagship brothers. No, but no, the next show we're gonna be replaying.
Don't say that too fast; we might get canceled.
Yeah, exactly. Say it 3 times, we're really canceled. No, but we're gonna be checking back on the White Sox series, and then we're gonna check in on our series with the Diamondbacks, which is the first place club. And previewing our tailgate as well. We'll probably have some fantastic updates for you coming with that. So any final words for Neto?
Do I get to come to your house on Saturday and do the post game?
That would be nice.
Sick. Super excited. I haven't done a post game with you in a minute, so that'll be fun.
That would be fun.
That's all I got. I'm going to go to – I'm starving because, it's 5 o'clock in New Mexico currently. It's 5:13 at the time we record this. So my body's still on Dallas time, so it's 6:13. So I'm starving. And there's a casino right here that I lost money because I had to wait like an hour and a half to check in. So I'm like, well, there's a casino in the parking lot. So yeah, your boy did not even come up for like a second. Sometimes like you'll come up for a little bit and then like you lose. Nope, I didn't even get that. Like I got like enough where I was able to play for like an hour and a half. And then I got impatient. Like the last, I was like, I got like 10 minutes before I got to check in. I put like a $20 bet in. I was like, lost it all.
You gotta play yourself some blackjack, win it back, my man.
That's what I was playing.
Oh, never mind.
I was playing virtual blackjack. That's because they don't have tables at this casino here in New Mexico. Go figure. Oh. So yeah, I was playing virtual blackjack. So maybe later.
All right. Well, best of luck to you, man, and we'll catch up with you here soon.
Can't wait to see everyone at the tailgate. For everyone who's been messaging me, I've got quite a few people. Yes, I am on my way. I will see you guys there. Looking forward to meeting a lot of faces.
Enjoy the cactus and the rock landscaping of the lawns.
Love it.
See ya.